Hello, everyone. How are we doing? This is part two, round two, second, whatever attempt at the live Q&A. The first live Q&A looks like it started buffering in about 15 minutes. So I waited for it to come back. It never did. Something I've done is you've probably seen the video quality has gone down. I do have an HD camera that I try to leverage. I've set up my network, given some advice from some viewers. It works most of the time. It's able to take the bandwidth of the high def camera, but it stopped today. So I let the video quality get down because it's more important for me to complete this than have high video quality. You know, worst case, you don't watch the video, you just listen. I do what I can. So we will just keep moving forward, letting people join as I kind of ramble here. But I was in the middle of a Vegas rant. I'll kind of finish where it is and not knowing where it stopped for you. My basic point where hopefully I just want to go back to is I missed an important variable about Vegas. That's why I think Vegas will could have a pullback, but not a crash. The pullback will be, the floor will be Wall Street. There are billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars waiting on the sideline. Wall Street proved in the 2008 crash, really started executing in 2010, that they can buy entire tapes or books of houses or bad debt and convert them to rentals. So I believe there's plenty of Wall Street firms that have already dispatched employees or bird dogs or whatever you want to call them to look for housing, single family homes in Vegas. So yes, there will be people in pain. There will be people that have to sell. There will be people that will be forced to move. There will be landlords that are frustrated. There will be pain felt in Vegas, I believe. But it will be more of a pullback because Wall Street will take a smaller discount than you and I want. You and I might want a 30, 40, 50% discount because, heck, that's what we got in 2010. Wall Street has the cheapest money, the most patient money, and they have a proven system that works. They are going to go ham in markets like Vegas, Orlando, Miami, markets that are very touristy. They know that that's coming back. They don't know when exactly, but they know it will. And if you have cheap patience and a lot of money, you're going to take a 10%, 15% discount and be happy, happy, happy. So I no longer believe Vegas will have a crash. And man, if you would ask me in March, I was certain. So again, hey, live and learn, move on. I don't think Vegas will have a crash. It may have a pullback. Next, asking about build to rent. I put out a video a couple of weeks ago now, I think, talking about, I'm looking at that in California in my market of Fresno. And since I did that video, I've been getting tons of mail and local papers about other large tracts of homes being done build to rent. Got a couple on Vegas, got one yesterday on Houston. I've gotten build for rent from across the nation. So thank you for that. Love the articles you've been sending me. So thank you. But what I take from that is a bigger story. What I take from that is the single family home rental, the build for rent model should be a signal to you and I. I think it's a signal that being a landlord of single family homes is a pretty good business, right? We are learning space is good, vertical living bad, very profitable model with cheap debt. So what I take from Wall Street and deep pocket investments in build to rent is, you know what? Being a single family landlord's not a bad business, right? It's a business with cheap fixed rate debt, not variable like commercial. It's an investment that has multiple exits, investor or owner occupant. And what I really think is going to be happening over the next decade is prices are going to rise, affordability is going to go down, and then rents are going to rise. It's kind of a series of dominoes. So if you can get in now with a deal that's a good deal, right? If you're one of my students, we talk good and great deals, right? We start by learning average, and it takes a while to learn average. Do the work, right? Back to the first video. But once you know average, you can do good and great. And if you can get a good or great deal, get some 30-year fixed rate debt, given these dominoes we just talked about, I think it's going to be a very profitable business for you. And I stand by what I've said probably for the last 6 or 9 months. I'm only buying single family homes. I certainly will plan to 1031 into multifamily, and I'll take a multifamily if I can get owner financing, most cases. But I'm not really looking at multifamily. They're still overpriced, in my opinion. So I think the build to rent model is interesting, but most importantly for you and I, it's a signal to go buy some existing homes. At least that's how I see it. This one, freaking Grant Cardone fans. Why are you talking about single family when multifamily or bigger is better? That's an exact quote I got from one of the comments. I think that one was on Instagram. First off, do the work, going back to our first video. And I would say that sometimes bigger is better. Sometimes. But I don't think there's a single investment out there that is always good, right? Some people, I always laugh at the people on CNBC that are what people call gold bugs. Gold bugs have never had a time where gold is not the best investment. And I believe the same could be said for multifamily. I think if you're a multifamily investor, you believe that multifamily is always the best investment. And if you follow my story, if you're a part of my course, you know that that's not how I think. I think you put everything in one spreadsheet, you do the math, you look at the end of the column and it talks about yield or cash on cash return, and you just pick the biggest number. And for most markets, probably not all, but for most markets today, a single family home produces the highest yield. But to the person that says multifamily or bigger is better, I will say to you, do the work, do the math. Let's see. I promise you, you can go broke in multifamily. I promise you, there will be plenty of general partners in syndications that in the next month or two stop distributions. Jonathan Twomley, one of the multimillionaires we usually talk to Jonathan on Thursdays. He is a syndicator. And we both talk off camera or off recording about syndicators going bust. And that starts with holding distributions, then a capital calls, maybe technical default by a bank, maybe the bank taking over cash management. I mean, it's going to get ugly. Our Thursday conversations with Jonathan this week scared me. Rent collections down. Vacancies up. People still overpaying. This is not a recipe for continued success. And if urban flight continues, millennial buying continues, again, do the work. I don't think multifamily is going to prove to be the best asset I've purchased in 2020. And yes, I watch Grant Cardone and I see that he just bought a Class A building, and I just saw it this morning. Where was it? Fort Myers or something? Fort Myers? I don't know. Someplace in Florida. Good for him. He's got other people's money. He's got the cheapest debt. Florida is a great place to buy. Certainly migration is growing. So again, awesome. I love it. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? He bought 500 units or whatever it was. Good for him. For most of us, you and I, do the math. Multifamily doesn't work. Yeah, multifamily doesn't work. Let's see. I guess my biggest mistake. That's a question I get every once in a while, and my answer changes based on where I'm feeling and what I'm doing. So one of the things that I'm thinking about today when I got this text or this comment was, I thought the answer lied in Excel. I thought the answer lied in Excel. I thought I could create the master Uber spreadsheet, right? I'm an accountant. I have an MBA. Numbers are easy for me. Spelling is not. If you know me at all, I can't spell for anything. But numbers are easy for me. So I figured lean on my strength, beat on it until it bled. But that is a horrible mistake. Real estate investing specifically is a people business. It is not only who you know, but who knows you and who knows you and what you're looking for. In fact, the Excel spreadsheet in my course, the Excel spreadsheet that I use every day, is remarkably simple. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I think there's two formulas. One is a calculation of down payment. Basically, I think you can put a percentage. And then the other one's yield. All the other fields I think are just, I think property managed. No, I think they're all just fields. It's remarkably simple. Real estate investing is not about the spreadsheet. It's not even about math, at least not hard math. It's just how hard is my cash working? That's all it is how hard is my cash working? Right? And then most importantly about this being a people business, especially when you're getting started, you need to surround yourself with people who think and are moving in the same direction. Too many of you have the urge to get started, which is fun, which is exciting. You vibrate at a certain rate. I can see it. But then you don't complement yourself with a new collection of homies. You use the same homies you did before you got into real estate investing, and pretty soon they're negative. They detract. They take you out of it. They have the focus. It's not healthy. And a lot of you that start vibrating early are gone in 6 months, never having done anything except waste your time. The reason I bring this up is because, again, something I did not appreciate when I started this journey of really trying to help people is our private Facebook group called One Rental at a Time Works. What I've seen in that community over the last 6 to 9 months is students helping students celebrating others, people just asking questions and getting responses. The thing that I am most proud of today as we exit 2020 is that Facebook group. And let's be clear, and I've said this many times, I created it as nothing more than a repository. I thought if I had it as a repository, a lot of the questions I get are similar. If I just put them there, people could scroll and see the feed. Man, I was an idiot. It is so much more than that. I would say 70% of the communications now are students helping students. I do a Saturday live here at, I don't know, another 30 minutes. I do it in the group. But yeah, that's really the heartbeat. I think that's really going to blossom in 2021. I have over 1,000 students now. I think that group's not even 350 today. So lots of other people that could join just don't. Maybe they don't have Facebook. Maybe they bought early and they don't know I have it. I don't know. But I think that's really going to explode. So if you're going to spend the $200 on my course and you're on Facebook, some of my students don't have Facebook, you really should join. And just so you know, I get 3 to 5 requests a day now. Most of them I decline because you're not my student. I'm only going to let my students in because we talk a certain language. We're all positive. We're all trying to make our future better. And I'm not going to let in people that will be toxic. It's not going to happen. So for me, my biggest mistake was not appreciating this was a people business. And I tried to lock myself in front of my computer. I should have been looking for other people to connect with. And for me, one rental at a time, the community we have growing is by far the best thing we're doing together. And I look forward to seeing what that becomes next year. So that's cool. I guess the last thing I got asked if I'm going to do discounts on my course. I got asked, hey, you're going to do a Black Friday sale? Are you going to do a Christmas sale? And the answer is no. It's $199. I think it's remarkably priced. I think if I do a discount, I hurt other people, which is not my intention. So no, I'm not doing a discount. The only thing I'm doing is if you want to buy it and give it as a Christmas gift, you can let me know, which I have a list right over there, right by my light, of people that are buying it on Christmas morning. I'm going to be sending an email, personal email to whoever you want to give it to, welcoming them to the group, talking about what's going on, and just giving them hopefully a smile on Christmas morning. So no discounts. I don't believe in it. Buy it if you want it. Don't. But if you're going to give it as a Christmas gift, I will love to be a part of your Christmas morning. I like nothing more than making people smile. So I will send a happy holidays message. So if that's interest to you, let's coordinate and I'll get you added to the list. All right. So that's what I have for today. Let's go back and see what your questions. Now we go back to your questions. And again, I apologize for the difficulty we had. It's just sorry. Tamika, thank you. Yep. Technical difficulties happen. I tried. Jeffrey, Ultimate Bargains, by the way, creative finance investor. Oh, something that should be of note. I have no idea what the questions were from the first part one of this. I didn't write them down. I usually come back to them. So if you put a question into part one, I apologize. You have to do it again because I didn't save them. Jeffrey, by the way, creative financing investors also buy on payment before price we can offer. Oh, of course. Yep. Absolutely. Look at Jeffrey dropping knowledge. Yeah, the key to effective creative financing, as Jeffrey knows, is you got to find the right situation. It doesn't always work. But if you can find that little niche, I love creative financing. In fact, I think that will be a skill that we all improve going forward. Yes, no single niche is best. I totally agree. It all changes. Daniel, how you doing, Daniel? I would like to learn more about creative financing on properties that are owned free and clear. Any resources you might suggest? People are definitely still overpaying. Wonder when we will see that change. Jeffrey responding. Yeah, Ron LeGrand. I think he wrote a book. I know he wrote a book because I read it. I just don't remember what it was called. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon. Yeah, I don't have any strong recommendations, Daniel, of folks. I know Pace Morby. He interviewed me the other day. Pace, Pace, Morby. What is it? Morby. He's doing some subject to and owner financing stuff out of Arizona. I like him. He's a good dude. I've actually met him in person twice now, I think. But yeah, I think it's one of those things you've really got to read into because there's lots of variations, lease options, seller financing, subject to, all of those things. So you got to be careful. But to Ultimate Bargain or Jeffrey's point, it's really about the seller. It's the seller situation. Yep. Isn't creative financing more difficult when the seller has non-assumable mortgage or lien against the property? Well, there's right where you have a non-assumable mortgage in that, Tamika. There's always a threat of a loan being called. I've been in this and have known people have done thousands of these, and I only know of two situations where a performing note was called. One was a small credit union who did everything with paper, and the other one was I forget what the other one was, but I know of two situations. I would say I don't know about difficult. There are certainly, you can call it additional risks to consider for sure. But yeah, if you find a seller that has no mortgage, right, owns it free and clear, you have a lot more options. But again, if you have a mortgage and you're upside down, meaning let's say your mortgage is 200 and the property is worth 180, there's still a way to get a creative deal done if all the variables line up. It's just, yeah, I'd say it's more difficult for sure. Brian, so concerning Vegas, what are the homes that Wall Street won't buy that we could find and buy? Maybe get a former buyer for Invitation Homes on the show. Yeah, boy, Brian, if you know a buyer from Invitation Homes, make an intro. Let's go. Absolutely. My guess, Brian, is Wall Street's not, they're no dummies. They're not going to buy $1 million golf front, golf homes. They're going to buy bread and butter. I'm going to guess they're going to buy 500K and below. I think the median, according to Brian Liebel, is about did he say 385 or 365, something like that? So my guess is Wall Street stays below 500, but that's where we're going to stay. Wall Street will be our competition. Now, the one wrinkle in that I could see, again, remember, one rental at a time. I'm a month to month, 1 year lease guy. If you want to roll the dice and do Airbnbs, right? Maybe you buy that $1 million golf home on the golf course with the fancy pool and, infinity pool in the back. I do not see Wall Street, at least currently, doing Airbnbs as another business. I think they're going to stick to the month-to-month year lease model. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. So I don't think they're going to be buying the $1 million homes. So if you're going to be buying those, you either got to house hack like crazy, or you got to rely on Airbnb. That's what I think. Yes, to me, yeah, Jeffrey. Yep, paper tiger. It's always there though. People get nervous. Yep. Oh, where we go? Yeah, analysis paralysis problem for many investors. Yeah, me too. Yeah, commercial real estate is about contracts. I like that. Residential real estate's about people. I think that's fair. Absolutely. Winston, good morning. How are you? Do you have a strategy for making offers increased earn much money deposit? In today's market, so yeah, there's a couple of things. Again, I'm just like you. I'm competing in a fierce market. So if I like an opportunity and my intention is to pay cash for it, Tamika, I have been known to do 50% earnest money deposits. I want to basically make my offer stand out. I've also shortened conditions. Those are really two things that I have at my disposal because, again, I promise you I won't be the highest price. But yeah, I've gone up to 50. I think even one offer I did full earnest money deposit. But my standard is 50% today if I really like the opportunity. For most of my offers today, the default is 10%. Again, I'm trying to stand out. Most earnest money deposits are $1,000 in my market. If I can come out swinging and say 10,000 or 15,000, it just looks different. So yeah, that's one thing I do. And then I shorten conditions because if I'm going to do a full gut of the house, why do I need 2 weeks? And I'm going to change everything anyway. But those are two things I do today. Theo, which is better, 15-year low monthly cash flow but early payoff, or 30-year better monthly cash flow but later payoff? Do the math, do the work, understand your plan. If you were 55, for example, and your intention was to be retired by 65 and you had a high paying job and didn't need the money, for most people, I would say do 15. If you're 30 years old, you want the cash flow to help pay your mortgage payment or pay the electricity bill or pay your phone bill, then you do 30-year. I think anybody that tells you there's always one right answer, I think in the medical field, they call it malpractice, right? You go to a doctor, you point at your elbow and say, it hurts. And they say, stop doing it. Malpractice. They don't know anything about you. They ask more questions. At least the good doctors do. Same thing here. I don't know your situation, Theo. I don't know your job. I don't know your savings. I don't know any of that. So I don't think there is a best option. I think based on your criteria and where you are in life and what your future plans are, it will tell you right away. I can tell you my experience. And again, it's in my book, so it's no secret. I did all 30-year loans. Never even looked at a 15. But again, I started at 30. And my intention was to be done at 50. So there you go. As someone who watched me, Kevin, go from educator to entertainer. Yeah. As you grow your following on YouTube, how will you adjust to growing demand for your time? Theo, I'm going to give the same amount of time every day. If you don't know, my story is pretty simple. I'm a morning person. My wife isn't. So I'm up at 6 a.m. or earlier every single day. Every single day. And I got to do something. So this is what I do, right? My wife is probably just now stirring in bed. She'll probably be up at 9. So I got a couple hours. And then I do my thing and move on, right? You see me post a lot of videos, like those interviews I do with the multimillionaires. Those are recorded at 8 o'clock, 7:30 or 8 o'clock, set 5 days a week. And then I just spread them out. I will not let YouTube take up my time. It's going to be what it's going to be. Don't care. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm never going to be a full-time YouTuber. Meet Kevin. You see his studio. He's trying to make $1 million a month and clickbaits and editing and all of that. I will never be at that level. All of my stuff is live. I have never edited a video. Pointless. I don't have the time nor the interest, nor the technical inclination. My focus is helping and moving on. So we'll see. Hold me to it. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Daniel. Great question, Theo. My hope would be that Michael stays devoted to the student community as he gives up time to interact with him directly every Saturday. Yep, that would be my hope too. Yep, cool. Thank you, Daniel. Oops, where are we going? Yeah, learn your market, do the work. Yeah, do the work is going to become my answer for lots of questions. So if I say that to you, don't be upset. Do the work. What market is best? Do the work. How do I learn my market? Do the work. Yeah, it's the right. Like, you want to lose weight? Do the work. You want to learn to play golf? Do the work. You want to learn real estate? Do the work. Yeah. Is there a way for a high W-2 earner to take advantage of depreciation now? Tax preparer said we make too much depreciate, go save later. I want to pay less taxes now. Boy, Miguel. So there's you again. I'm not an accountant. My experience with this is you're shit out of luck. I think the limit's 250K. I could be wrong. Maybe it was lower. Maybe it was 250K as a married couple. But whatever. There is some limit that if you make more than, your losses becomes what, well, at least in my experience, was called a carry forward loss. Basically, you don't get any benefit of real estate loss. So yes, I think that is what you're referring to. And that is the pain of being a high W-2 earner. I'm sorry. I could not take any of my passive losses for, how many years would that be? 15 or 16 years? But once you retire, once you get out of the game, it's all there for you. There is one wrinkle, Miguel. Again, I don't know your story. I don't know your situation. I have helped other people where one of the husband or wife is high income and the other is stay at home. Again, work with your tax professional, but there are ways that you can have your significant other become a real estate professional. Be very, very careful. It is an audit trigger. So again, do it correctly. But if your significant other, Miguel, doesn't work, I would talk with a real estate accountant and say, how does he or she, your significant other, become a real estate professional? But if both of you are high income earners, or maybe you're single, you're just like me. For a decade, I went to my accountant and said, why the hell am I doing this? Blah, blah, blah. I wanted tax benefits. Nope. You got to make less money. And I didn't like the idea of making less money. So I wish I had a better answer. Again, not an accountant, not a CPA, but that has been my experience. So probably not the answer you were looking for, but it's the only answer I got. Winston, would you advise against buying a house sight unseen? If I start looking outside CA, how do you feel comfortable with well, again, do the work, boots on the ground. So let's be very clear, Winston, because we have a vocabulary problem in your question. I lock up a lot of properties sight unseen. I would never, ever buy a property that I haven't seen or someone I trust to go through it. It's funny. Until 2020, I saw every house I bought. I've bought 4 properties and I have 2 more in escrow that I have not seen in 2020. But people I know or trust know my process. We've done it on video. We go through it. But again, Winston, you can lock up properties sight unseen. I do it all the time. But then you must have someone, if not you, go through them. Part of investing out of state is building a team. I call it boots on the ground. Be careful. I believe boots on the ground are far more important than market. For example, Winston, let's say your college roommate lives in Memphis, Tennessee, but you think Nashville is a better market. I would invest in Memphis because boots on the ground are more important than market. If you don't have somebody you trust in Nashville in this example, you are likely to make a mistake. You are likely to get ripped off. That's how I feel. Hopefully that makes sense. Jeffrey, Ultimate Bargains. In my humble opinion, if you are good with the numbers and 30-year amortization, no premade penalty, let you make 15-year payments. Yep. Of course. Yep. Yep. I only invest in one market. Yep. Brian, I posted this questions a few days ago. So at what point does a critical mass of all qualified borrowers have on a home? Once we hit this point, what does that mean for the housing market? What point does a critical mass of qualified borrowers have on a home? So Brian, I'm going to guess what you're trying to say and tell me if I'm wrong. I think what you're saying is we have a very low inventory, but there's a lot of pre-qualified buyers, owner occupants, and investors. And, hey, if there's 5 homes, but 50 qualified buyers, what happens? I don't mean to sound arrogant or flippant, but the prices go up. Because if you have 50 qualified buyers in 5 homes or even 10 homes, there's only going to be 10 winners and there's going to be 40 people who are disappointed. If you want to be one of the 10, you're going to raise prices. Do you know why real estate's up 15% nationally in 2020? Because there's 10 houses, figuratively speaking, and 50 buyers. We are in that market today. The other thing that will happen is 10 buyers, or 10 units, 10 houses, 50 buyers, prices go up. People that own houses, they may list for the other 40, but at higher prices. So we may see inventory pulled off the sidelines, but that's a very slow process. That's what I think. So Brian, if I missed, and where did you post that question? Was that in the Facebook group or I don't remember that question. So I missed it. I apologize. Cool. Yes. Super Triz. Yep. Boots on the ground are important. Totally agree. Oh, I think what Brian is asking is when will most qualified buyers have completed buying and demand declines? Oh, okay. I guess I could see that in that question. I don't think we're there. I don't think we've had enough inventory. Again, go back to the example 10 versus 50. Even if we don't have new qualified buyers coming, which we absolutely do, it's going to take a while for this to unwind. So I don't see that happening in 2021 for sure. It is not a concern that I have. It's not like there's not new qualified buyers coming. It's not like new life events and job transfers and family formations and, newlyweds and babies being born. We are not slowing down the qualified buyers. Even we've tightened credit this year. Like we talk about JP Morgan on the daily financial news this morning. Deals are still getting done. I actually think qualified buyers come next year. Here's the deal. This would be fun to watch. 2020, in my opinion, has been about contracting, um, contracting the pool of mortgages, right? I did one of the interviews with Matt, the mortgage guy. We talked about how lending has gotten tighter and there's been less mortgage money. Here's the deal, guys. Back to that question, Brian. I believe it becomes easier to get a loan next year. I think the economy expands. I think banks start to get a little, they start to go, hey, we don't need an 800 credit score anymore. We'll take a 760 and then a 740. And then, you know what? We'll even take a 680. We are going to have more qualified buyers next year. I think lending, I think 2020 was about tight lending. I think 2021 will be about loosening. And if that happens, more qualified buyers, more buyers, more buyers. Damn it, we need some inventory. And if we don't, freaking prices are going to skyrocket. That's what I think is happening. Oh, cool. All right. That was my question. Sorry, Brian. I missed it. Thanks, Jeffrey. I missed it entirely. With credit tightening, what happens when most of the people who want to buy qualify for financing? Yeah, I think prices are going to go up. I think next year will be about lending getting easier. Yep. Do I miss the software game? Not at all. I lived in a world for 20 years where I could have been fired every 90 days. That eats at you every day. That's not fun. Sam, again, property tax, you got to watch it. I think you have to be late for like 4 or 5 years before a foreclosure or something happens. My guess is people will eventually pay their property taxes over time. It's sad that, at least in my state of California, the governor has made it hard for me to collect rent, but he still wanted property taxes paid twice. That was very irritating. I did not like that. I think the last time they were due was on December 10th, so that was not fun. Writing those checks was a pain in the butt. But yeah, people will catch up, and you're going to pay a penalty. I think the interest rate on delayed taxes is like 12%. It's pretty punitive, so people will pay. Yep. All right, everybody. I'm going to call this one. I apologize for the technical difficulty up front. I tried to use the HD camera. Didn't work today. But I'm going to shut this down and get ready for my students here in about 6 minutes. Take care.